like I said, back cover should be down, name on it. Then you should have dividing decimals, then multiplying decimals, then subtracting decimals, then adding decimals. Then you should have decimal concepts. Then you should have your front cover, and yours should look like mine. Do you guys see this? Okay. So then what's going to happen, okay, is we are going to walk around and we are going to take a stapler and we are going to staple right there for you. We're going to do it, not you. Is that understood? Once you have it stapled, you are going to flip it over to the back and you are going to take your glue, put glue on just the back, that back cover, and you are going to glue it down into your notebook. You are going to glue it, not on the back cover, but on the next page. The second page. Does that make sense? So you need to staple it, and then we are going to glue it down to that next page. Understood? Glue it down one more time. Grab the staple. You're welcome. You're welcome. What?
Oh, sorry. There's not a lot of room to move around. Oh, what do you got going on? It must be that cheese mouth, Brady, right? Yeah. You can buy yourself back there. But I don't have like these mask on. You can't say nothing. I do. You have a good point. You're welcome. Anyone else? Raise your hand if you don't have yours done yet. Everybody good?
You're gonna need that page.
Cool beans.
Your stuff, look through everything.
Cool beans. Okay, you got it glued on the right page? Yes, come on. Oh, did Gonzo is done? Alright, we'll get you one.
Okay, we have one last sheet to glue, guys. It's that green one. You're going to turn your page, and you're not going to glue it on the back. You're going to glue it on the next page. So you're skipping another page. Is that understood?
I think I just put it on the wrong page. So
Skip that. Oh,
so you're going to glue the green page down.
turn that thing on.
So you have it on this page. Skip this one. Now put it on this one.
2.
You're welcome.
So it's on this page.
Here. Put this one there.
So then this one was the page I
There, bud.
When you're done, guys, scissors and glue or whatever can be put away. You don't need it anymore. All right, guys. We are going to get started. So this is what your notebook should look like. You should see tab divider page, unit 1 integers, or decimals, excuse me, unit 1 decimals. Then you'll flip it open. You have a blank page. You have the booklet. Then you flip it again. You have a blank page and your green word problem page. Okay? So here is where we're going to go. We're going to go to that first blank page. And we're going to start our notes. Cooper, you got to get your notebook open, but otherwise you're going to have to do all this at home. So, today we're going to do what I wanted to do yesterday, but I kind of knew we weren't going to have time for it. So we're going to do yesterday and today. Yesterday and today. This shouldn't be hard because it should hopefully be review. Understood? So, for instance, today we are going to start and we're going to title this page Reading and Writing Decimals. And then we're going to put today's date down, which is 8/28. Now, your homework, guys, is all going to be on the computer. Understood? So, what I mean by that is when you're doing your homework and you're like, I don't know how to spell the number or the word 100, what should you use to help you spell the word 100? Notebook, or it's on a computer, guys. Computers all have spell check. Use it. Got it? Look it up. Okay? Understood? So your homework should all be spelled correctly because you have the computer to help you. Got it? All right, so let's just do a few examples. Because, like I said, hopefully this is review. So here's our first example. Okay, I'm going to give you this. We're going to say 322 and 7/10. 322 and 7/10. We need to write that using numbers. Okay, what is the word that breaks up my whole numbers and my decimals? What's that word, you guys? Say it out loud.
And.
Perfect. So this and is going to break up my whole numbers and my decimals. So the words before it are my what? Your whole numbers. So the words before it are the whole numbers. The and is your decimal. And the words after it are my what? Decimal numbers. That's how it's always broken up for you, okay? So whole numbers, you can literally put your hand over that part right here. 322. Can we all write that? I'm hoping so. So I'm going to write 322. That's pretty straightforward, hopefully, right? The and means what? So you put your decimal down. When you see that and, decimal goes right there. Understood? And then it says the last part is decimal numbers. So it says 7/10. How do I write 7/10? How do I write it? I just put a 7 there. So this right here is your answer. That's all we're doing. Reading and writing. Let's do one more. So I'm going to write 37 and 8/100. 37 and 8/100. What word breaks my whole number and decimals up again, everyone? Perfect. So when I see that and, I'm literally going to cover it up, and I see what? Everyone write 37. Hopefully that part is simple, right? Then what do I put? A decimal. Here's the tricky part. Why do I have to put a 0 and then the 8? Because it's hundredths. So because it says hundredths, this is your hundredth spot. It's 2 decimal places. Do we all see the difference between the first one and the second one? Questions? Okay, what if I reversed it, guys, and I gave you this? I gave you numbers. Now what do you need to do? You got to write it. So first things first, look at the whole number. Cover everything up and look at the whole number. What's my whole number? So you are going to write 14. I think that's how it's spelled. If not, remember there's spell check, right? It's the beauty of it, okay? So 14. Then what do I write? And. So first things first, you write the whole number. Then we see the decimal. I need the word and. Next, I see the number what? So I'm going to write 12. But then I need one more word, and that's the place value. So is it in the tenths or the hundredths? So we would write hundredths. What place is after the hundredths? It's tenths, hundredths, and then thousands. You guys are awesome. Let's do one more, and then we're done with reading and writing. 132.9. Let's do that. Break it up. Write the whole number first. How do I write the whole number, everyone? Well, say it. What's my whole number? So we would write 132. After the whole number, what do we see? And what do we write for a decimal? And. Good. And then what number do you see after the decimal? So we write a 9. And then you write what place it's in. What place is it in? So we would write tenths. Does that make sense? Have to be able to read and write decimals. Whether we're like using it constantly or not, have to be able to do it. Questions? All right, last thing we're going to do, or I'm going to teach you, / review, is we are going to work on comparing and ordering. I'm going to skip this page. I'm going to leave that there. I don't have room. If you have room and you want to keep working on this page, go for it. But I'm going to go to this next blank page that I have, and I'm going to title it Comparing and Ordering. And I'm going to write that date down again. Okay. So I want to compare decimals. So we're going to work on comparing first. When I say compare, what do I mean? What are we talking about, Eba?
We're going to compare decimals to see like how big the number is.
Okay, so what symbols in math do we use to compare then, Eba?
Greater than
Less than and equal to. Excellent. So when we compare in math, you are going to use your greater than, less than, or equal to signs. Okay, so here's an example. If I give you 0.4 and 0.5, I need to compare. Is 0.4 greater than, less than, or equal to 0.5, everyone?
less than.
Good. So I'm going to put my less than symbol down. Okay, what if I did this one? 1.7, 1.85. Now I have a question. Do you notice how one number has one number after it and the other one has 2 after it? What should I add behind the 7 to make it so they have the same numbers, everyone?
0.
Excellent. Good job, guys. So I want to add that 0 there. That way I can compare 1.70 and 1.85. So is it greater than, less than, or equal to? Perfect. Always have the same number of decimal places. Is that understood? Always add zeros. Okay, let's try another one. 3.452 and 3.45. One number has 3 decimal places, the other one has 2, so what do I need to add, everyone? So I'm going to add a 0. Now my whole numbers, are my whole numbers the same or different? They're the same, so I'm going to pretend like these whole numbers aren't here. Now I have 452 and 450. Is 452 greater than, less than, or equal to 450? Good, so that means that my answer is greater than. Questions? Okay, let's move on to ordering. When I say ordering, what do I mean? How to order decimals from? Yes, and? Least to greatest or? Greatest to least. So let's start with least to greatest. So let's start with least to greatest, and I'm going to give you these numbers. 0.43, 0.444, 0.4, and 0.375. Now, here's my trick with decimals. Line them up. rewrite them so they are one on top of the other. It's easier to see than side by side. Is that understood? So when I say rewrite it, I'm going to rewrite it so it's 0.43. Then I'm going to write 0.444 underneath it. I'm lining up based on my decimals and my numbers. And then I'm going to do 0.4 and 0.375. It's easier to see when they're lined up than if you're just looking at a long line. Now, what do I need to add behind all of the numbers that are not the same? So I'm going to add zeros. That way, each of my numbers has 3 numbers after the decimal. Does everyone see that? Are all of my whole numbers the same? Are my whole numbers the same? My whole number is all 0, right? So I can pretend like those zeros aren't even there, and now I just see 430, 444, 400, and 375. Least to greatest means smallest to biggest. What's the smallest number? 375. So that should be your first number that you write. So I'm going to rewrite 0.375. That comes first. What's the next smallest number? 430, 444, or 400, everyone? So that's my second number, 0.4. Leave off those extra zeros. You don't need them in your answer. Is that clear? What's next? 430 or 444? Excellent. And then I'm going to write 0.43. I'm going to leave off that 0 because I don't need it. Now, if you write it, are you wrong? No, you're not. Last but not least, what is it? 0.444. And I'm going to write that down. And that is my answer. You have to have the same number of numbers after each decimal because that makes your life easier. If you don't, it's going to make it harder on yourself, okay? So always, always, always add zeros. Is that understood? Okay, let's do one more. But this time we're going to do greatest to least. And here are our numbers. 2.62, 2.4, 2.68, 2.262, and 2.71. What's the first thing I should do? Before that, line them up. So put them lined up. So I want to go 2.62, 2.4, making sure that I'm lining up my numbers and my decimals. So then 2.68, 2.262, 2.71. Now that they're lined up, what do? Now you add those zeros so that there are 3 numbers behind each decimal. Now you can start comparing and ordering them. Look at your whole numbers first, guys. Are my whole numbers the same or different? They are what? So I don't need to look at my whole numbers anymore. I just need to look at my decimals. Greatest means largest, so I want the largest number first. What is my largest number that you see, everyone? So we are going to write 2.71 first. Does that make sense? What is the next largest number that you see, everyone? You see this 2.68. Nice. So we're going to write 2.68. What comes next? The 2.62. What's next? 400 or 262? So I'd write 2.4. And last but not least, what is it? Oops, that should be a 2 there. Questions? Is this making sense? Okay, so that is our notes for today. So I'm going to stop